Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As you can see, today we're gonna be talking about Dragon's Lair. I know you guys have been farming very actively. You guys are trying to look for videos on, what teams and what units to use and some explanation. That's what I'm gonna be here for. We're gonna be doing a whole series on all these different dungeons, giving you a lot of tips and tricks from free-to-play teams to even speed teams. So do me a favor, I've been looking at my statistics still, and it seems a lot of you that watch these videos actually are not subscribed to the channel. So do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Simple click, hit the bell icon. We have a video upload every single day, sometimes even more. Lately we've been doing like 2 videos a day, so you don't want to miss out on any. We're currently live, so everybody on Twitch, feel free to say hello to your future self. So today, we're going to be talking about Dragon's Lair. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video later instead of sooner is because I think players, I'm going to emphasize this, most players should be focusing on the other dungeons to farm artifacts. So if you haven't seen the other videos, make sure you check out these videos. All right, the Punisher Crypt video as well as the Steel Fortress video. Those are the ones that you want to get done and you really want to farm those artifacts. Now, getting into these dungeons, because some people just want to be able to do every single dungeon. So we have the Dragon's Lair. A lot of people have been having some issues, and I'm gonna go ahead and start a run here. As you can see, the team I'm using is very familiar. A lot of more free-to-play units, right? Just like some of the other videos I have, I'm trying to use more free-to-play units to help you guys and hit a wider range of you guys that have these units to be able to rune them and do these dungeons successfully. So I will say this about these dungeons. So obviously with the introduction of new dungeons, from going from stage 10 to 12, units and the boss had to get tankier, had to get a little bit tougher. So because of that reason, we have seen and we can tell now, right? It's definitely noticeable that these dungeons have a higher accuracy and resistance check, which basically means you need to bring in more accuracy on the units that are doing stuff, right? The units that strip, the units that defense break, the units that put debuffs in general need to have a higher amount of accuracy in these new B12 dungeons for giants, dragons, and necros. So keep that in mind. On top of that, these dungeons are going to be tougher. So obviously you've probably tried to go face, or you try to go for the boss, or you tried to use some of your old teams that you're previously using in, Dragons 10, Necro 10, Giants 10, and they don't work. And I think players should take a step back and try to go back to your roots. Go back to the roots and start bringing in some of the old school teams that you used before, whether it's Verd and Lauren and Sigmaris and even some people have been using like Shannon for Giants as well as Veramos and stuff like that. Go back to your roots, brings more of those sustain teams, right? Those turn cycling sustain teams into your dungeons, and you'll find that you'll be able to do these dungeons very, very easily. These dungeons are very simple. The strategies have not changed. The requirements are just higher now. So if you're an early mid-game player, your rune quality might not be there yet. So go back to your roots, bring in some of those support units, right? Bring in like Bella, bring in these other units that you used to use back in the day. And I mean, if you're still using it now, then you'll probably be running those on your teams. And you'll find that you'll be able to do these dungeons successfully. And because these dungeons have a higher success or a higher drop rate of 6-star runes, you're gonna easily be able to get your rune quality higher and eventually get to the point of being able to go face just for the boss. And we might be able to achieve those speed teams once again. It's just the rune requirements on these units just need to be a little bit higher. So as you can see, I'm using a team here with Verd Lauren. I think that's going to be the main core of this team. Verd Lauren, mainly to turn cycle, right? Cycle turns, let you strip, let you defense break, and let you do damage. Also preventing the boss from moving so you don't take damage at all. Those are going to be the main core for this team. The difference in this team is the Elsharin. If you don't have Elsharin, definitely try to get one. It's a very, very solid unit. It's free to play because you get it from those ancient coins. Get that Elsharin. He's really good at keeping your team alive with immunity. The less dots you have, the less the damage the boss does, right? That's one of the main mechanics for dragons, is the more dots you have, the more damage the boss does to you. So the Elsharin stripping the immunity, letting you do more damage to you and put defense break, as well as you having immunity and the tower not putting dots on you, you'll take less damage. And last but not least are the damage dealers. I'm currently using here Crow and Sigmaris. I think they're great damage dealers for this dungeon. You can use other things like Rayok or whatever other damage dealers you have. Now, I decided not to use any premium units, but I do have Teor. I think Teor is another great unit that you can use in this dungeon, but pretty much any 2 damage dealers that you want. And I assume a lot of people have Sigmaris, a lot of people have built Crow for your early stages in the game from Giants and whatnot, so I decided to incorporate them in here. Now, you're going to try to do this dungeon, and if you can't do this dungeon successfully with 2 damage dealers, you can go even slower. Now, this dungeon runs approximately 130 seconds. A minute 30 to about a minute 40 is typically what it runs. And if you want to go slower to do a 2-minute run, take out one of your damage dealers, right? You can take out the Crow, you can take out the Sigmaris, either or, and put in like a Fran. put in like a Bella, something else to help you sustain, and you'll definitely have a 100% success rate 2-minute team. I also specifically for this dungeon, which I'm going to show you runes for in a little bit, I specifically didn't put the craziest of runes that I have on these units, right? You'll see from the Verd and Lore, and the runes that I slapped on here are not that crazy. So they're a little bit more feasible and you can relate a little bit more to them here. But all in all, I think this dungeon is very, very simple. Very, very simple. I think as you are progressing even more in the future, you can even slowly start incorporating more damage dealers, right? Like I said, getting better runes, improving your glory towers, putting in more damage dealers, right? You can leave the Verd and the Lauren and you can maybe slap in 3 damage dealers. And you might find that the turn rotations that you get from Verd and Lauren, paired up with your 3 damage dealers, is enough, right? To nuke through the boss. Maybe Water Twins can come back as well. And going face is definitely going to be more possible with under 1-minute teams. As you can see, this team is very, very... Okay, that was a little bit monk-ass right there. Usually, typically very safe. Typically, you know, as long as you don't miss the strip, as long as you're, you know, the Lauren is continually going and getting that nice turn rotation, the boss doesn't move, right? And if the boss... Perfect. Yeah, as you can see here, of course, every time I test these dungeons, before I do them as a video for you guys here, I'll let you know that I always test these and I do about 50 to 100 runs, and it doesn't fail. But every time I record them, they fail, right? So this is actually a good example here. So with that failing, what that means is if you're gonna fail and you want to have a higher success rate, go ahead, like I said earlier, put in the Fran, put in the tanky, the support unit to help you sustain. And when you add that in, you'll definitely get a 100% run. So go back, right? Slowly start off with 1 damage dealer, whether it's a Crow or a Sigmaris, and then slowly incorporate more damage dealers into your team and reduce those times. But if you notice that it's inconsistent, go back to the support, more of the support build, right? Or the support team. Or maybe even go back and rune up your units even stronger. If I put better runes onto these units, as in if I put way better damage dealing runes onto the Sigmaris, way better damage dealing runes onto the Crow, I think the run would be even more successful. Right, as you can see, the boss was pretty much almost done. Right, just needed a little bit more damage output. These dungeons, like I said, you're gonna have to farm better runes to do them a lot more successfully. So it is definitely more of a rune check, right? More and more of a rune check. But the general consensus from players saying these dungeons are too hard, it's not hard. You're just trying to do these dungeons too fast because you want to flex, right? Everybody wants to have a under 1-minute team. Everybody wants to have that super fast team, right? But if you're failing like half the time, I don't think it's worth it. So go back and do these dungeons successfully because we can definitely do these dungeons with ease and slowly increase your rune quality. Let me go ahead and show you some of the runes on these units after this run here. I'll actually, let's do one more run and let's actually swap out with a Teor. Something a little bit more premium for those of you guys who have Teor, so you can see how the run looks with a Teor instead of Sigmaris in its place. The Teor adds another layer of security, which is going to be really, really nice. AI is stupid. I would say to a certain extent, AI can be stupid in these runs, right? We've seen it with Agar being, you know, very dumb on how it uses its skills, but that's something that we have to account for, something that we have to factor in when we do these dungeons, right? There's a certain degree of failure or things, you know, going wrong. So we bring in other units and other mechanics to kind of make up, those and to kind of like fill in the gaps for those moments that things do derp in these dungeons. But yeah, definitely make sure you have good accuracy. I definitely tried to ensure that I had good accuracy on this Osharin and this Lord, since those are the 2 main mechanics of stripping and defense breaking and, you know, reducing the attack gauge of the boss. See? So you can see, very safe, right? I didn't go under 50% health on any units at all. But again, this is more of a safe team. As you can see, 2 minutes. Is that 2 minutes? Right? 2-minute team. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. If you're playing games and you're farming and you're out with friends, maybe YOLO. Put in your 1-minute team. Yeah, YOLO. Put in your 1-minute team and hope you don't fail. Right? So your friends don't see your 2-minute team. So if you want to flex. Me, I don't care. Right? You're doing a dungeon, you're successfully completing it. That's the most important part. Let's go ahead and move the runes over to Teor here, like I said. Right, so I have a Teor. Let's go ahead and move it quickly over here from Sigmaris to Teor. Hey, they're just on Fatal, right? Nothing special. Not even on Violent. Obviously, if you can rune these damage dealers on Violent, you're gonna have a much higher success rate because now you're gonna get those chances every single turn rotation. You're gonna have a chance to proc, right? So you definitely will be seeing your units proc in the long term. So Violent would be even better. I think currently right now, I think the Crow is actually on a Violent damage build, but the but the Teor is not. Both damage dealers can be on Fatal or Rage or even Swift. They don't have to be on Violent, but when you can get them on Violent, I think that'll be really good. Look, they just resisted 70-something% accuracy, and I just missed all this. Look at all the resistance that's popping up every time I move. It's actually kind of crazy. Look at that. I think previously players needed around, usually I suggested about 40 to 50% accuracy, but now that you need more accuracy, I really recommend players to have about 65%, right? Yeah, 65%, even 70% accuracy on their units that are very important to land the debuffs or strip. So as you can see here, that crush really does a lot of damage and helps out quite a bit. All right, that slow is huge, especially when you get to the boss stage. People forget that you can actually AoE and hit the towers. If you slow and, with the last buff to Terror, reduce attack gauge, it'll actually decrease the amount of benefits that the dragon's going to be getting from these side towers. So once I can get that crush back up, which, should turn cycle pretty quickly, especially if Crow chooses to take him and teams up. And on top of that, that right there, that crush right there, reducing the attack gauge and now a slow on the tower, which makes it really, really long for the tower to take another turn. So it gives you the time to kind of, go face and go ham against this this boss right here. Squall? Wow, Squall with no attack buff is man. Yeah, we did 19k. I guess this boss is just really tanky, that's all. Terror also puts a one turn dot, right, which is kind of nice. There we go. Terror. Completing the dungeon very successfully. Now, of course, like I said, it's a little bit more premium. Let's go to show you guys some of the stats on these units here. All right, gonna start off with the main core here, right? Verd. Like I said, I reduced the rune quality. My Verd used to be a 230 speed Verd. Right, first off, I reduced the rune quality because I wanted Verd to go last. Second of all, I made sure not to put too much HP, too much defense, right? To show you that you don't need a crazy Verd. You don't need to rune these units very, very insanely. You just need to rune them correctly, rune them with enough stats, rune them with the right turn order, the right accuracy, and you're good to go, right? You're good to go. So Verd is going to be moving last here, right? Not very fast, got some defense in there, got some health, that's it. Violent Revenge. Right? Chances to proc more to increase your attack gauge. Chance to revenge as well to increase your attack gauge. Second unit here, Lauren. Also have decreased the quality on this unit. Look, it's you can easily make a Lauren way tankier than this, right? More HP, more defense, right? It's on violent focus, trying to hit a high amount of accuracy and getting it to the right speed tuning, right? To go one of the first units on the team. If not, I think it is the first unit actually on the team, unless Fran's in there. And reducing attack gauge, also putting defense break as well as stripping. That's it. Right? Violent. That's all it is. Yeah, of course, Verd, you need 100 crit rate too. But hopefully that's kind of self-explanatory. Next unit here that we got is Crow, right? Let's show Crow here. As you can see, Crow, attack for damage attack, right? Violent energy. That's it. Speed to right. You don't even need this much crit rate, right? This just turns out to have this much crit rate, crit damage, right? Get a little bit of HP in there so it, you don't die. Right, but you don't need that much speed. Accuracy, if I could get accuracy for him a little bit higher, that'd be nice. Just for more chances to, put brand or put defense break. That could help, right? That could definitely help. Next unit here, I'll move the runes back quickly from the Teor here. I'll move runes from the Teor back to the Sigmaris, so you can kind of see what it looks like on the Sigmaris instead of the Teor here. There you go, Sigmaris. Right next to move on the team after the Crow, just in case Crow, there's no defense break. Crow has a chance to put that defense break and for Sigmaris to go. Right, as you can see, a lot of attack though, but mainly because I'm on attack or damage, or I'm not on attack or damage attack. I'm on a fatal set though. But speed, crit damage, attack build. Hardest part about runing up this unit here, Sigmaris, is getting enough health. Right, you don't want to be too squishy, just in case you get hit by something. You want to be able to survive, and not getting health on him is very difficult, or her, him, her, it, the Phoenix. Sigmaris, because of the low base HP. But like I said, as your runes get better, you should be able to get these stats very easily. And like I said, you can go rage, right? You can go less attack, you can have more crit damage or whatnot. You can go rage, you can even go swift, that's fine. And the last unit here, what was the last unit there? Yeah, last unit was a Sharon. I put him on a damage build. I put him on one of my damage dealer builds. I put him on revenge, just so he can maybe revenge and steal the immunity if there is, or put a dot, right? And he's on violent. Violent, speed, crit damage, attack. A little bit of health, right? Actually kind of squishy to be honest with that high base HP. And just to go second. Right, I believe it goes second. It does go second right after the Lauren, right, to put defense break or to strip if the Lauren doesn't strip by chance. Accuracy is high because he's very important to strip and land the defense break or dot that he can provide. And that's it, right? That's all it is, right? Of course, other units, like I said, are Ryok. You can rune up Ryok on any of those damage dealer stats, and it'll do just fine. One other thing to mention is, even with these teams that I'm suggesting to you that are a little bit slower, right? A little bit slower, as well as a little bit, they're consistent, but they're a little bit slower, and you might be having some hard times getting these stats on these units. Keep in mind, artifacts will actually... Did I move the runes off of Teor? It's like on the Sigmaris instead of the Teor here. Well, time to fail another run. Of course, yeah, as we're making a video, of course we'd have to fail a run. I believe that we did not put the runes back on Teor. Okay, great. I am professional, by the way. This is content, right? I meant to do that. 100% meant to do that. But as I was saying, please farm artifacts. Artifacts are very, very important, and artifacts can accentuate and really enhance a lot of your units. So as you can see, even these teams right here, if you had artifacts, your teams would be more successful. If you had artifacts, right, your units would do more damage, your runs would be quicker. So even if maybe you wanted to try to go face, right, with like more units, more damage dealers in your team, try to get that sub 1 minute team, artifacts will take you there as well. So make sure you're farming those artifact dungeons, and if you decide to farm these B12 dungeons, hopefully you slow down your teams and get that high success rate, and hopefully get runes, since runes are 2.5 times drop rates for legendaries. But even purples, I want to know how much more times we get purple 6-star runes now from B12s. Since you only can get 6-star, I wonder what the drop rate is of purple runes. Like how much more do you get now? Because purple runes honestly make up a big bulk of people's inventories, and you can get some premium runes just from purples. They don't necessarily have to be legends. I wonder if this dungeon is still gonna complete. I think this dungeon is still gonna complete with no runes on Teor. Is this taking bets? Are we gonna complete this dungeon? I think it's reducing attack bar without. That's how OP he is, right? People used to meme how junk Teor was. Yeah, now he's so OP. Now he's so OP. Look at that. Doesn't even have runes. Yeah, this dungeon is so easy. You can run it with 4 units with runes and 1 unit without runes. Wow. PogChamp, how much damage did that skull actually do right there? That's probably, oh my god, we didn't even go under half HP. We didn't even go under half HP on anything. Okay, 2-minute team. Okay, that's quite a bit slower though. I think we lost a lot of damage, so that made the team a lot slower. Okay, let's see if he actually did have runes. He didn't have any runes at all. Yeah, I think Teor is a solid unit that should deserve his runes back. I mean, not that I'm gonna be farming this dungeon very often. I've been farming artifacts 24/7, 24/7. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know the teams that you're running. Right, let's brainstorm a little bit. Maybe we can devise and figure out some units that are super OP right now as damage dealers, or support type units for these dungeons, and help players to make faster teams. But I think this is a very free to play, 100% success rate team if you can rune them up correctly, which is the main thing. But leave that like, leave that comment. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Everybody here on Twitch, say bye-bye to YouTube. We'll see you guys on the next live streamer video. Peace out, YouTube.